This video is brought to you by catbeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats.
How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Before I start this video, I would like to give a shout out to my sponsor, catbeast.com. Catbeast.com is your one-stop shop for custom snapbacks made from people all around the world. You can design your own custom hats, snapbacks, beanies, and finding other great designs that suit your fitting. Now on to the video. Once an NBA player reaches their prime, they become unstoppable, spectacular, and breathtaking to watch. There will always be a few stars every season who's in their absolute peak of their powers. Although some guys like LeBron James has an unlimited prime, which can be seen between 2009 to 2018, the very best of the best will be dominant regardless of their style of play or era. While a couple stars in 2022 have fallen off, former MVP winners Russ Westbrook and James Harden, many times extremely brutal to watch. Their productions fell off, both those guys in their 30s and have passed their primes. Others like Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis likely to have already reached their peak due to injuries, unavailability, and Irving simply letting all these games pass him by, given how fans have to worry about them getting hurt frequently. Both already won a title, their hunger's also questioned. While the exception of DeMar DeRozan came off having his finest season, shouldn't be as good heading into 2023. With that said, let's take a look at 10 NBA stars heading into their absolute primes in 2023, destined to have their best seasons ever. Starting with Fred VanVleet of the Toronto Raptors, famously bet on himself, paid huge dividends. 28 years old, became a first-time All-Star, put up 20.3 points, almost 7 assists, career highs in all 3 categories. After a hip strain injury Game 4 during the Sixers series, left lots to be desired, missed the last 2 regular season games with a bruised right knee, a reliable playoff performer after the birth of his son in 2019. Final year in his contract, making over $21 million before having a player option for 2024. Either the Raptors have to pay him a lump sum close to 30 or perhaps even trade him for a few pieces. If Nick Nurse can help manage his minutes more effectively and play with a good pace, given his size, can be even more productive over the course of 82 games. Raptors fans had some concerns whether he's already peaked, but you bet that'll motivate his play even more. Continues to get better every year. I expect higher efficiency due to the rise of Scotty Barnes and double teams commanding from his other guys. Domantas Sabonis of the Sacramento Kings, a hybrid of Chris Webber and Vlade Divac, not as athletic or skilled as C-Web, has the post moves and passing abilities. The now 26-year-old, one of the most fundamental players to watch, after numbers of 19 and 12, 5 assists on 57% shooting, could have helped numerous playoff caliber teams. Instead, was traded from the Pacers to the NBA's basement, a team that hasn't made the playoffs since he was 10 years old. Being under the radar, Domantas viewed as a poor man's Jokic, never panics, very relaxed. If he develops an outside shot, will be even more deadly. Although his defense will never be elite, Sabonis doesn't have the athleticism and talent of a prime DeMarcus Cousins, but a little better playmaker, a higher IQ, better footwork on the post, more efficient, and 100 times better attitude. Being one of the 5 best offensive big men in the NBA, in my opinion, will prove to be the most important player for Sacramento. Don't be shocked to see numbers of 22.5 points, 13 rebounds, 6.5 assists from the 6'11 big. Marcus Smart, the Celtics organization and former head coach Ime Udoka, has been an absolute travesty over the past week. The despicable actions. The regaining defensive player of the year knows he's got unfinished business after stalling in production from 2017 to 2019. Many rumors about the team trading him, whether he can truly be a starter, given his lack of offense and not being a good shooter. Smart put those things to rest. Sort of a late boomer similar to Kyle Lowry, a master at flailing his body around. The team brought in big name point guards from Kyrie to Kemba, massively underachieved, to Smart being inserted into starting lineup, a questionable decision, ended up 2 wins short of a title. His decision making still sloppy, doesn't need to rely on heavy athleticism, but his instincts and IQ heading into year 9, he'll only get smarter, more savvy with his rotations, has deep postseason experience under his belt. With the emergence of young Brown and Tatum, both still not in their prime ages, Smart's one last step to reaching his full potential, being a lethal catch and shoot guy. Now with Malcolm Brogdon being on the squad, Smart doesn't have to play make down the stretch and can fully focus on his D. Andrew Wiggins, Coming off as the second best player in the finals for a championship team, the 27-year-old ended all the haters when bashed for his underachievements. When installed in the right culture and right system, Wiggins far exceeded expectations and stepped up big in meaningful basketball. The perfect fit behind another superstar, became an all-star finally for the first time in his 8th season. Many believe he'd be a top 5 player in the face of the league by now. Heavy expectations after being a high school prodigy. Although he doesn't have consistent motor, can still disappear at times, one of the most lethal two-way players, still has the athleticism to dunk on guys, a masterclass defensive performance on Tatum. Now the pressure is off and proving himself as a winner. Game 5 was the best player in the finals. Basically, somebody Harrison Barnes was supposed to be for Golden State. His hustle and effort also fuse energy to the rest of the Warriors. Willingness to adapt and crash the glass proves he'll do anything to win. Can't say the same for other big profile guys. Will be a free agent after 2023, so you bet he's looking forward to another max deal, only by either maintaining his level of production and have a deep playoff run and be the proven consistent number 2 guy all of next season. That will get Wiggins paid north of 30 mil. Pascal Siakam, also a late boomer, now 28 heading into year 7, the former most improved player in 2019 proved to be a great second option for the title squad, truly elevated his game in the finals, then became an all-star, numbers of 23 and 7, but struggled as the main guy creating his own shot the 2 seasons after Kawhi, shot just 45% from the field, down from 55 with Leonard. 13 All-NBA a season ago, ESPN ranked him 30th, but some believe he's top 25, being an older rookie for his class with no ability to stretch his jumper, viewed as a high-energy power forward, similar to the likes of Jamichael Green and Luka Amute, and playing organized ball at 17, his physical tools with his work ethic underestimated, was an afterthought after being terrible in the bubble, not touching a basketball for 4 months, written off. Toronto not a team to get much attention to begin with, more mature and steady now, better attitude to it and easy to root for. Expect Siakam to keep getting overlooked next season until he beats your favorite superstar. Zach LaVine, the now 27-year-old, will turn 28 in March, play solid with DeRozan at an age getting comfortable as a passer, outside shooter, still has the athleticism. After agreeing to a 5-year $215 max deal, finally made his first postseason appearance, already heading into year 9. He's not as good as top 10, but can be the 1990s version of Mitt Richmond, good numbers that lack playoff success. Missed 13 of the season's final 43, had knee surgery in May, made 2 all-star teams, when hot can hit 5 straight threes within the 2-minute span. Given his past injuries, missing at least 14 games each year since season 2, I don't see LaVine sustaining long-term all-star status, and one more big injury will be an afterthought. Given the amount of young talent in today's game, I see him and DeRozan having a terrific regular season together, realizing his struggles and wasn't healthy the latter part of 2022. That hurt his play. 2023 can very well be the last season of the DeMar-Zach experiment. Will also need to give more effort and can't let his frustrations get to him. Karl-Anthony Towns, the time is now. No more excuses for the soon-to-be 27-year-old. All that talk of him being the best shooting big man ever and claiming he's one of the most talented players to ever play the game can't be too ahead of himself when he never gotten past the first round. Not an easy task, given how long it took Kevin Garnett to do so in Minnesota. Numbers of nearly 25 a game, 10 boards, 53% shooting, 41 from deep, super impressive. Saying it's championship or bust, Chris Finch will have a lot of planning fitting in Gobert at the 5. Expect Towns to shoot 8 threes a game now, needs to improve on his passing with Gobert living in the paint. Minnesota high ceiling for regular season, especially if Anthony Edwards can take another leap and become as good as Donovan Mitchell, which is very possible. Rudy's impact alone should make Minnesota a top 10 defensive regular season team. Cat's offense can absolutely complement with Gobert's defense. If Minnesota can win in the mid-50s, Towns can realistically be an MVP candidate. The time is now for Minnesota, no more messing around. Joel Embiid, who's an absolute monster in every aspect of the game, the back-to-back second place MVP voting, ranked ESPN's 4th best player, arguably top 5, the process still loading, heading into his 7th full season, coming off playing 68 games, the most he's played in the regular season, the scoring champ at over 30.5 points, nearly 12 boards, a much improved passer at over 4 dimes, the process no longer young. Despite Philly tanking for many years, from the failed picks of Jahlil Okafor, Markelle Fultz, and the pathetic Ben Simmons, to the unpromising James Harden, who's past his prime, unless Harden can play like 80% of his former self, Philly should still be in contention. And being a late bloomer, After sitting out his first 2 years at a stage where he knows his body should pace himself better given how many times he falls every game, up to Doc Rivers to pace Embiid's play and have him fresh for the playoffs, a time where he seems to have unlucky injuries. If Joel can play 72 of 82 games, might be the best he can ever do. Being a big man, having that much weight on, falling down 1 out of every 5 plays, his NBA career might not last as long as other superstars. Deep down, it absolutely bothers Embiid not winning MVP, where he had a case the last 2 years. Should only motivate him to continue destroying opponents, put up monster numbers, and be in contention again for the award. Similar numbers to last season won't shock me. Nikola Jokic, the Nuggets' dark horse pick to win it all after overachieving without his 2 best players. The back-to-back MVP and efficiency wizard. Now he knows how unstoppable he is. With better shooters returning in Murray and Porter Jr., his load will be reduced significantly. The now 27-year-old can possibly lead his team to 60 wins and win a 3rd straight MVP. Will become the first player since Larry Bird to do so. Can still average 8 dimes with players who can't shoot. Can easily average a triple-double throughout 82 games in his sleep and not force the action. Having all-time great potential, can do it all offensively, given how unstoppable his Dirk-like fadeaway can be. With all the respect, Prime Jokic can possibly become even better than Prime Nowitzki, a once-in-a-lifetime second-rounder. The disrespect from the media and even former players baffling. By the time his career is said and done, he'll easily have over an hour of passing highlights alone. Arguably the best passer in the league today, numbers of 27, 14, and 8 on 60, 40, 90 wouldn't surprise me. Giannis Antetokounmpo, at the height of his powers, literally unstoppable, will turn 28 December 6th, one of the hardest working players. That's how he became the league's best. Could have just settled being top 20, but continued to put in the work after winning back-to-back MVPs under the radar and got labeled voter fatigue even though he had a case each of the last 2 seasons. Numbers of 30, 12, and 6, over a steal and a block, the best help defender in the association. No Middleton for most of the playoffs. Numbers of 32, 14, and 7 can be depended upon to score 40 every other playoff game when needed. Although Giannis humble enough to never call himself the best player, the people already know, imposes his will on opponents. Every type of award imaginable, from MVP to DPOY to Finals MVP, All-Star Game MVP, you name it. Learn from his previous playoff disappointments before becoming a champion. The fact that many haters like Gilbert Arenas agent 0 rings and Stephen A. Smith, jealous that Giannis is not American, can't accept the Greek Freak's the best player in the NBA. Other superstars like Jokic doesn't have his defense, and Embiid doesn't deliver like Giannis in the playoffs. Curry can't play both ends as well. Durant and LeBron older and missed too many games. Luka still years away and doesn't have the D. It's only a matter of time we see a consistent post game and a solid outside shot. Giannis will be one of the most unstoppable players the game will ever see. Thank you so much for watching this video. Which one of these players are you most excited to see for 2023? Let me know in the comments below. I love all of you. See you next time.